Good morning, card community. It's RJ back with another video. Let's get to it. Let's talk some Kellogg's and some sports flicks today. What do you say? Today's random Mike Schmidt item of the day. 1981. 1981 Kellogg's card. You can see here that Kellogg's was manufactured by a company called Xenographics or Zeographics, XO Graphics, part of the Visual Panographics company. We got the licenses for MLB and the Players Association, and Kellogg was cranking out these cards all throughout the 70s and into the early 80s. And I've begun trying to pick up all of those sets. The ones from the early 70s can be very pricey. Some of the sets can go up towards of $1,000, but we'll work on it. We'll get there. Don't you worry. So this is the 82 one. I've got the entire 82 set. This is Mike's version of that 82 set. They tend to warp a bit because the quick physics lessons for everybody out there. Why do cards warp? Cards warp because the surface on one side is different from the surface on the other side, and the two surfaces react to temperature in different manners. And when the temperatures affect the card such that the surface material will contract or expand at different rates, the card warps. Sorry, that's my scientific brain kicking into action. But that's why the cards tend to warp sometimes, because the plastic on one side expands and contracts at different rates than the cardboard on the opposite side, or the paper on the opposite side, and the cards bend. That's my Mike Schmidt card. This one is a card from the 1980 Kellogg set, much smaller, thinner card. A guy named Jason Thompson, Jason Dolph Thompson. The reason I pulled this card out is because the Kmart or the Kellogg's cards were the stars, 3D superstars. Usually about somewhere between 60 and 70 players, sometimes closer to 80. In fact, this series, if you look down there at the bottom, my camera's on the other side, it was a series of 60 that year, and he was card number 17. And you got to wonder, why is a guy named Jason Thompson that I've never heard of? He might have been a star for all I know, might have played many years for all I know, but I'm not aware of Jason Thompson being anybody distinguished in the history of Major League Baseball. Maybe a local fan favorite to some of the people in Detroit. Maybe Lisa Z knows who he is, being a Detroit fan. I always wonder how some of these people make these little subsets, how they make these sets of limited edition players. Who was the person who thought he'd be a good addition into this set? Always makes me wonder. All right, today's trivia question. We are still in the realm of award season here. Prize is going to be a cool Dennis Eckersley Sports Flicks card, sticking with the Kellogg's 3D theme. You can see your Magic Motion cards. This is actually a Sports Flicks card from 1994. Hall of Famer Dennis Eckersley. Very cool card for you, your Sports Flicks fans. If you can tell me this question. All right. Who was the first individual to win both the MVP award and the Cy Young award in the same season? Now, I'm not saying Dennis Eckersley did it. I'm not saying he was the first person to do it, if he did do it. But that's the question. Name for me the first player to win both the Cy Young award and the MVP award in the same season. Frankly, I'm against that. I think the Cy Young is the MVP award for pitchers. They should be happy with that. The MVP should go to literally the most valuable player other than a pitcher. You guys can debate the proper, whether that's accurate or not. It's certainly not my decision. But, there you have it. Today, what I want to show off is a little set put out by Kellogg's of a much smaller number of cards. Sports Flicks produced this for them at the time, because this came out in 91. Little set of 15 cards of baseball greats from Cornflakes. They would obviously one card per pack in your box of one card per box in your box of cornflakes that year. And it's several longtime veteran players in all of baseball, starting with Gaylord Perry, then of the Indians. At least he's pictured on the Indians in this card. Gaylord long since retired by 91. I'm not sure why they chose him on the Indians. He's much more known as being a San Francisco Giant, but they chose to put him in Cleveland, which is kind of cool because the old Cleveland Reds are one of those iconic goof of a uniform. No need to speak about this individual. Hank Aaron is a name unto himself, legendary player in all regards, one of the best all-around players there ever was. Hank made this set. There's only 15 cards. Hank was number 2. Another all-time great all-around player, Willie Mays. I do love the 3D, the attempt at a 3D graphic on these cards. It's just so, it is so 80s, 90s kind of thing. Ernie Banks, back-to-back MVP award winner. I think it was 87, 88, but don't quote me on that. Oh, no, it was 88, 89. See, shows you what I know. 88, 89, back-to-back MVP awards for Mr. Banks. Bob Gibson instilled fear in every batter he faced. He was a nice guy off the field, but on the field, he wanted to kill you. So, Bob Gibson, cool card there. Harmon Killebrew, obviously with a name like Killebrew and a propensity to mash home runs, he got the nickname The Killer. Member of the 500 Home Run Club. Raleigh Fingers, the trademark mustachioed player. Still sports a handlebar mustache to some degree to this day if you see Raleigh out and about on the autograph circuit. Certainly he's our Yak Pack fan if you do Yak Packs. Raleigh Fingers, card number 7. Steve Carlton of the great Phillies teams of the 70s and 80s. Beloved pitcher for the Phillies. Card number 8. Billy Williams, one of those forgotten Hall of Famers. Unless you're a Chicago Cubs fan, Billy Williams is not a name that comes up very often in your Great to the Game Hall of Fame numbers, but he did have quite the career. Good home run total, excellent career batting average of 290. One of those forgotten Hall of Famers, though. Lou Brock, 3,000 hit club member. People always remember Lou Brock for his speed on the bases. He had the career record for the longest time. But people forget he was a great hitter with a over 3,000 career hits. So, Yogi Berra, obviously the person who has the most World Series rings of any other. Mr. Berra was in possession of 10 World Series rings and 18 appearances, I believe, over his career. That is just ridiculous. So there you go. Congrats to Yogi. Warren Spahn, the winningest left-hander in Major League Baseball history. Mr. Spahn. What do you got here? Boog Powell. I was surprised to see there's 2 players here that kind of just surprised me they were included. Not because they're not great players, but I mean, it wouldn't have been difficult to find a couple more Hall of Famers to make up this set, and I just think it would have been nice if the whole set was limited to Hall of Famers. That's how I feel about the Hall of Fame, and you have these little sets, let's keep it there, but Boog was certainly a great player in his day, as was Don Baylor. Don's one of these guys who I think consideration should be given to putting him in the Hall of Fame. There's an interesting quote here on the back. Don was part of the 87 Twins that went to the World Series. Says right here, Don also played in 3 World Series and hit .385 in the 87 series with the Twins. Don is an intimidating force, said Twins manager Tom Kelly. It seems he's always on teams that win. Should have made him a better manager than he was, but he was a baseball lifer I think deserves some Hall of Fame consideration. And then lastly, we have Ralph Kiner. I love this little quote about Ralph Kiner. Maybe you've heard it in the past, but at the very bottom, it says Ralph, who totaled 369 home runs in his career, is reputed to have said that home run hitters drive Cadillacs and singles hitters drive Fords. Well, I drive a Toyota. What does that make me? Anyway, it's just a nice little set I picked up off the bay recently. 15 cards in this little subset, little box set. Well, not a box set, but little set of Kellogg's Corn Flakes cards produced by Sportflix. And to celebrate, we have that Dennis Eckersley 1994 Sportflix card up for grabs back there. Remember the trivia question? Who was the first player to win MVP and Cy Young in the same season? And we'll pick a winner on Sunday. Again, I'll include my email in the description below, so you can email me the answer along with a repeat of the question, and we'll pick a winner on Sunday. All right. Appreciate everybody's taking some time out of their busy day today to come over and watch my little offering of interesting facts. I hope you appreciated it. We'll come back again on Friday for one more great video and trivia questions for that week's thing. It's getting close to Thanksgiving. I'm not sure if I'll take off for Thanksgiving or not, but we'll see. Hope everybody's having a great holiday season so far. I may be jumping the gun, but I'm one of those guys who's already starting to watch my Hallmark Christmas special. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope to see you again on Friday. That's all I got for today. So take care.